Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming, and a special welcome to our friends from the Port of Virginia and the Virginia Maritime Association who are back in the room. I don't know if everybody knew this fact Ted shared with me this morning. 530,000 Virginians are employed by the Port and the Maritime Association. And not only that, for all our friends in the media, our maestros of the mic and pen, lunch is provided for you today. So how about a big hand for our guest in the back of the room, huh? Our friends in the media are never afraid of a little lunch, Eric. Speaking to the game this weekend, obviously very frustrated. I think frustrated is the word we're all feeling right now, particularly within our organization with the result from the game. And the critical point in this football game came on the second and the third drives when we got turnovers from our defense, the interception from Harold Blackman that put us on the 14-yard line, and then the caused fumble by Lawrence Garner, recovered by Geronda Hall, that put us on the 12, and we only came away with 3 points out of those two turnovers. The first drive, I thought we had scored. Robert Washington ran it in. There was a questionable holding call on that we didn't recover from, and with those two drives, when we had the opportunity to be up 14-0 and we weren't, that put us in a really difficult position. We played hard throughout the game. It's 10-3 at the half. We were playing good football, but just not enough, particularly right now offensively, to win this football game. And I'll give Western Kentucky a lot of credit. Good football team. They'd only allowed Florida International 14 points, a team that won 9 games last year. Defending league champ UAB only scored 13 against them, so they're playing pretty good defense right now, and give them a lot of credit. The second half of this football game, we were better offensively. We had 2 long drives, but we hurt ourselves with penalties on both of those drives that stopped us. Overall, defensively, I felt like we played well enough to win. Same with our special teams. We just need to play better football on offense. We're young right now on offense. We've got some key injuries, but we've got to find a way to play better football on offense. I met with our leadership council this morning, which is comprised of our seniors and our 2 junior captains, and clearly it was the best meeting I've ever had with a leadership group. Those guys they're committed to winning. They want to get better. They had some really strong suggestions on they want to practice harder. They want to do more in practice against each other. The defensive guys are talking to the offensive guys, encourage them, saying, hey, let's practice harder against each other, which is always a fine line because you have to prepare them each week for a different test. You've got to give them enough work against the opponent to prepare them for who you're going to play, but we're going to do that. Some of their suggestions were really good, and it was all about the team and unity and sticking together. They realize that we've got a lot of younger guys playing right now. We're only starting 1 senior on offense, 2 on defense. I truly believe this is a championship team. It's just not happening as quickly as we all would like, but these guys are committed to the process of winning. Speaking to our defense in this game, the report from the defense, 20 points, 320 yards for the 3rd week in a row. We hit our goal of 70% on 3rd down. We're doing a good job getting off the field. Lawrence Garner continues to play at I think an All-American level. He had 12 tackles. He forced a fumble. Really active in this game. Juwan Ross with 7 tackles, which is really hard to do as an interior defensive lineman. You spend most of your life involved with double teams, but he had 7 tackles. He had a huge sack in the first half that knocked him out of field goal range. And then Harold Blackman at safety with 7 tackles, the interception. Overall, the front was disruptive. Our 2 corners, Caleb Ford Dement and Tobias Moss, are playing really good football right now. You rarely see a ball completed against our corners, and Caleb had the first 2 plays of the game. He beat a block on a screen pass, made a TFL, and then he broke up the second pass. He's second in the league right now in pass breakups, and both those guys are playing really well for us. Special teams, we hit 5 of our 7 goals. Bailey Kate had 3 of his 5 punts inside the 20, which was big for field position, and we covered kicks well, and we covered punts well, which was good to see. Offensively, overall, it's a disappointing result, but it is not for a lack of of effort. We're just making too many mistakes at this point, so we've talked about narrowing the scope of what we're doing, opening it up to competition where they'll be graded in practice. Every position's open. I reminded them yesterday that we have played good football on offense. I go back 2 games ago to the first half against Virginia where we score 17 points. We've got over 200 yards of offense. We're 11 for 13 passing for 178 yards, so it's there. We've seen it. We just need to do a much better job right now of executing, and that's the biggest thing. And from my perspective as a head coach, when I see the amount of effort they're putting in, how hard they're working at it, we're going to continue with this process, but we have to do a better job of executing assignment, and we will. We'll get better at that. This week's opponent, Marshall, is 2-3 right now, coming off a really tough loss on the road at Middle Tennessee where they turned the ball over too much. That's really what hurt them in this football game. They had over 500 yards of offense and only 13 points. Offensively, they're number 2 in the league right now. Really well balanced on offense. They're over 200 yards in both run and pass, which is impressive. Not a lot of teams can do that. Their quarterback, Isaiah Green, is playing much better football. He's really matured and grown from last year. Defensively, they're big. They're physical on that side of the ball. So we know this will be a major challenge for us this week. We'll need a great week of practice, which I know we'll have, but this is a good football team we have at Old Dominion. They're compassionate. They want to do well. We just need to execute a little bit better in all phases, and we'll do that as a football team. And I will gladly take questions.
Bob, you guys have played some good offensive last 2 quarters against the Hokies and then the 2 against Virginia, those 4 together. Since then, it's been more of a struggle. Has it been lack of execution? Is it more the injuries, the inexperience, a combination of all that stuff?
Yeah, it's a combination. When we went down, the 4 guys that were starting, that definitely hurt us. We're playing 24 guys right now on offense, and part of that was the injury. Part of it is we're trying to grow a young football team. There's 8 inexperienced wideouts that are playing. We're playing some new guys really at all positions, and the freshmen, the redshirt freshmen that are playing, boy, they are working hard. They're preparing hard. We're just not executing at a high enough level against the teams we're playing. And I've always felt, my experience has taught me, when you've got a young football team and young players, you've got to stick with them, you've got to encourage them, you've got to coach them hard, and that's what we'll do.
Between Lala, Herzlo, Kuma, those injuries, are any updates, any significant updates?
Yeah, Lala's closer. He played a little bit in this football game, but we expect him to be ready to go this week. Kuma is still not ready. He's still coming back from that knee injury. Herzlo's still a little banged up, getting better. Saldiveri is closer. He's getting closer to getting back from his knee.
Anything else, Coach?
All right, thank you all for coming. A special thanks to our friends from the Port and the Maritime Association in the back of the room, digging hard right now with knife and fork. They are attacking that food with good vigor, and for our media friends, we'll do the same shortly. Have a great week, everybody.